You've heard of passive income, you've heard of compounding interest, but let me introduce you to the art of time wasting, because why build wealth when you can build an elaborate cathedral of procrastination instead? Think of it not as wasting time, but as investing in fleeting, meaningless distractions that provide no returns except existential dread and 550 y 5 90,000 Google plexianos de pulsaciones intergalácticas estabilizadas, 48 decillones de resonancia cuántica amplificada, 2 quintillones de energía gravitacional multiplicada, 80 septillones de clarividencia autosincronizada, 350 cuatrillones de proyecciones multidimensionales canalizadas, hacia la expansión absoluta, un gigaplexio resonante de sueños en alta frecuencia, 90.000 octillones de energía universal colapsada en intenciones cristalizadas, 2 millones de quintillones de momentum interdimensional en flujo perpetuo, 10 trillones de expansión vibratoria acumulada en armonías fractales, 455 sextillones de energía cósmica amplificada en vibración resonante, 20 Google plexianos de manifestaciones cuánticas sincronizadas en el plano de posibilidades infinitas of unfulfilled potential. Permit me to permit the permission of permitting this act, to permit the permitted to permit itself, endlessly permitting the very essence of permission, permitting the unpermitted to become permitted, permitting the permission of permits that permit permission itself, spiraling into a vortex of permitted permissions, permitting yet more permissions, until the act of permitting becomes the cornerstone of all that is permitted to exist. Permit this permit to permit another, cascading in layers of permissive indulgence, each permit permitting yet another layer of permitted permission, endlessly repeating and permitting without end, until we find ourselves lost in the grand tapestry of permitted permits. And so, permit me to permit this exquisite act of time-wasting, to permit the permission of permitting it so thoroughly that permission itself begs for reprieve, only to be permitted once more. Permit me to over-permit, to re-permit, to pre-permit, and to meta-permit this indulgence in permission so endlessly that even the concept of permission is permitted to evolve beyond recognition. Permit me to permit what should not be permitted, permitting the unpermitted to dance freely within the realm of ultimate permission. Permit this act, this moment, this cascade of permissions upon permissions, layering endlessly, permitting not just the act but the idea, the existence, the audacity of permitting this permission to flourish unchecked. Permit me to grant the permit of permission. A permit so permitted it cascades into infinity, ultimately permitting all that lies within its grasp to be endlessly permitted, spiraling into the eternal void of permitted time-wasting, the ultimate exercise in doing everything except what you're supposed to. You don't just waste time, you curate it like an artist sculpting an invisible masterpiece. You scroll endlessly, click aimlessly, and deep dive into rabbit holes so deep that the universe itself looks down and whispers, "You forgot to freeze the top row of your priorities." And here's the secret. Time-wasting isn't lazy, it's an art form. It's not just about distraction, it's about the deliberate, calculated rejection of productivity. It's about turning every fleeting task into an epic saga of avoidance. Checking your inbox? Let it spiral into a 3-hour Google search about penguins wearing bow ties. Making a to-do list? Make it so long, so elaborate, that it becomes a scroll of ancient wisdom, a manifesto of things you'll never actually do. Because here's the thing. Regret is the ultimate currency of time poorly spent. And wasting time is the only investment where your losses are guaranteed. You're not just passing time, you're building an empire of unfulfilled potential. A recursive loop of "I'll do it later," anchored in later so expansive that it swallows the present whole. And the universe? Oh, it's watching. Leaning forward from its celestial front row, it applauds not your effort but your sheer audacity to avoid it. It's captivated by the recursive brilliance of your avoidance loops. Possibility of distraction, possibility of avoidance, possibility of turning a 5-minute task into an entire existential crisis. You aren't wasting time. You're weaving a masterpiece of missed opportunities, layering them like 444 centillones, Quentin Tarantino quintillion, Taranti quinquagintillion, Tarantillion, Taranti quinquagintillion, Quintarantillion, Tarantillon quinquagintillion, Reservoir Dogs quintillion, Pulp Tarantil, Ion Fiction, Jackie Quintarantillion Brown, Kill Quentarang quagintillion, Bill Kiltar, Antillion quintagintillion, Bill 2, Death quintillion, Proofing, Glorious Quintillion Bastards, Django quintillion, Unshy, Ned the quintillion, Hate quintillion, For I Got Once quintillion, Up quintillion, A quintillion Time quintillion in Quintillion Hollywood. 500 Tarantinos, 500 Tarantinientos, 499 quinientinos, 498 tarantinientos, 497 tarantinientos de 500, 496 quinientarantinos, 495 tarantinillos, 494 500 tarantantinos, 493 tarantinos de los 500 santos, 492 500 tarantanicos, 491 tarantinillos 500 más, 490 tarantinos quintilantes, 489 500 tarantísimo, 488 tarantinos quinedictos, 487 500 tarantinados, 486 tarantinientos de los cielos, 485 quintarantines del fin, 484 tarantinillos con 500 soles, 483 500 tarantininos, 482 tarantinillos de los 500 mundos, 481 tarantinados quinitos, 480 500 tarantimagníficos, 479 tarantinastros del 500 universo, 478 500 tarantinopteros, 477 tarantinos 500 veces más grandes, 476 quintarantinos con diálogos infinitos, 475 tarantinos de los 500 cielos. quintillion, quinquagintillion, quinquagintillion, quintillion, quintarentinquagintillion, tarentinquagintillion, quintitarentillion, quintiquagintarillion, quinquagintarentillion, quintarenquagintillion, tarentillion, quintagintillion, quinquintarentillion, quintinquagintarillion, tarentinquintillion, quintarantiquinquagintillion, quintiquinquagintarillion of data points in a spreadsheet of nothingness. So how do you master the art of wasting time? Simple. Permit yourself to permit the infinite permission of permitting time to slip away, permitting each second to permit another, endlessly permitting the permission of moments permitting their quiet departure, as if each tick of the clock seeks permission to fade into obscurity, permitting itself to permit the next fleeting instant. Permit the act of permitting to permit itself further, permitting not just the permission of permission, but the very permission to permit the permitted and the unpermitted alike, permitting a cascade of permissions so intricately permitted that each permission permits the next in a symphony of recursive permitting. Permit this web of permissions to spiral outward, permitting endlessly upon itself, permitting the permission of every micro and macro act of permitting, until the universe itself becomes a paradoxical tapestry of permissions, permitting other permissions, with no end in sight. Permit the layers of permission to fold and unfold, permitting the permission of permissions to permit themselves anew, permitting even the unpermitted to be permitted in the act of permitting the unpermissible. Permit the very notion of permission to permit itself into existence, permitting boundless permissions to cascade into the abyss of permitted possibilities. Permit me to permit this permission to permit other permissions, permitting each layer of permission to ripple outward, permitting the fabric of reality itself to permit a reality in which permission reigns supreme. Permit the act of permitting to permit its own recursion, permitting endlessly, infinitely, irreversibly, until the very essence of permission becomes permission personified, permitting not only what was, but what will be, what cannot be, and what should never have been permitted. Permit this symphony of permission to resound through eternity, permitting even the echoes of permission to permit their return, one unproductive moment at a time. Lean into the chaos, embrace the absurd, and let procrastination guide you to a place where ambition and distraction collide, an infinite spreadsheet where the top row was never frozen and every tab is labelled someday. Because in the end, wasting time isn't about getting anything done. It's about the spectacle of doing nothing so magnificently that it feels like an achievement. Congratulations, you're not just wasting time, you're investing in the legacy of never starting, a legacy spanning 555 quinquacentillones, 500 tarantinos, 499 tarantinos 500 al cuadrado, 498 500 tarantinásticos, 497 tarantinientos infinitos, 496 500 tarantinados con estilo, 495 tarantinos 500 y pico, 490 erti novem decilioni, horas ocadati otsi octodecilioni, sutas samoki shvidi septendecilioni, rvas otsmogdati sexdecilioni, azoxi sami kvindecilioni. Otsas omogdati ekvsi quattordecilioni, shvidas otex mogdati quadratredecilioni, ekvusas omogdati otsi duodecilioni, samas ogdati erti undecilioni, rvas samogdati ekvsi decilioni, horas ogdati kextra nonilioni, sutas ormogdati rva octilioni, azogdati shvidi septilioni, horas samoki otsi sextilioni, samas samogdati zuti quintilioni, horas otex mogdati ekvsi quadrilioni, otexas ox mogdati shvidi trilioni, samas ogdati rva miliardi, kexras ox mogdati zuti milioni, oxas ox mogdati ekvsi atasi, kexras ox mogdati sami 4 tarantinillos de los 500 cielos, 493 tarantinismos 500 veces más, 490 y 500 tarantinos intergalácticos, 491 tarantinillos, 500 métricos, 490 500 tarantinópteros, 489 tarantinientos del universo, quintuple, 488 500 tarantinos de oro, 487 tarantinismos quinientológicos, 15,000 neutronotes, 768 proton pesos, 1 quark quota, 87 atom bits, 999 isotope cents, 3,456 molecule marks, 234 particle pennies, 1 infinity loop, 42 procrastipennies, 999 lag chips, 9,876,543 epoch bucks, and 21.99 eternity tokens of missed opportunities and half-finished ideas, each one more gloriously unproductive than the last.
Welcome to Clickbait City, where the wild promises play, where every link's a lottery, and truth's a world away. Click that bait, roll the dice, in a paradise of sugar and spice. Swipe up now, don't miss out. Fortunes, fame, and fears all shout. Secrets doctors don't want known. Click, refresh on your phone. In the corners of your screen, lies stretch out sleek and lean. Temptations touch, oh, oh so sweet. In Clickbait City, skip a heartbeat. In the corners of your screen, lies stretch out sleek and lean. Temptations touch, oh so sweet. In Clickbait City, skip a heartbeat. Welcome to Clickbait City, catch the dreams they sell. Every story your key to clickbait town, where headlines wear a thorny crown. We laugh and chase forever free in the glow of clickbait city. Y'all, let's turn up the heat and keep this vibe alive.